I thank the witness for appearing as well. Madam Director, you are a Georgetown lawyer, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And as a Georgetown lawyer, you understand that the public has a right to know certain things, true?
I believe in accountability and transparency.
And as a believer in accountability and transparency, you understand that persons who commit felonies are exposed to the public before they are convicted, and some who are never convicted, they have their names published. Some of the president's friends have been charged, and we know who they are, and we know what at least one is charged with. That's the public's right to know. Do you think the public doesn't have the right to know this kind of information?
Certainly when a case is filed and the
I take it your
arguments
answer
are
is
made,
yes. Thank you so much.
names are public.
And I would also add that the public has a right to know because they can make decisions based upon what they know. The Consumer Complaint Database has served us well. Over 1.5 million consumers have submitted complaints. 97% of these consumers receive timely responses. They have a right to know. They file their complaints. There's a belief that you do not support the public's right to know, that the public should be placed in a position such that regulators can find out about these complaints, but that the public can't. That's what people think. My guess is that if you were given the opportunity to say that you would have the complaint database that exposed Wells Fargo, that you would have this complaint database continue to remain public because the public has a right to know. Do you think the public has a right to know and see the complaints that are not felonies, that are not criminal charges, but to see these complaints?
Congressman, you're asking a very reasonable question.
I understand that it's
we have-
reasonable. If I may, I don't mean to be rude, crude, and unrefined, but this is a question wherein I will tell you the answer. The answer is yes, I think the public has a right to know. Now, if you hesitate or equivocate, if you don't do this without hesitation, reservation, or consternation, then I have to conclude that you don't think the public has a right to know. Again, I ask, does the public have a right to know?
Congressman, the statute establishes a process for submission of
I
complaints.
do
The Bureau has a
understand, but will
responsibility
you
to
allow
manage
that process, that statute, to continue to expose the names of the complaints that have been filed, as has been the case for over 1.5 million complaints? No consumers are complaining about this. The public believes that it has a right to know. Now, I will give you one final response, and when you've finished, then I will give my commentary. Again, will you keep the database in place because you understand that even if felons, they have their names published and they are found not guilty, not felons, people just simply charged, found not guilty, or cases are dismissed. You're a Georgetown lawyer. You know many cases are dismissed. But their names have been exposed to the public. Does the public have a right to know about these complaints at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau by and through its complaint database?
We have a responsibility to take in complaints.
I understand.
And absolutely to get
Look,
answers.
I know a no when I hear it. I know when a person says no. Madam Director, you're not the person for this job. You don't believe in the public's right to know. I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired.